President Donald Trump getting a clean bill of health from the White House doctor. Mr. Trump even taking an unrequired cognitive exam, which he also passed. But that was not good enough for all those reporters in the room who continued to grill the doctor for an hour during a Q&A session. Listen.
He continues to enjoy the significant long-term cardiac and overall health benefits that come from a lifetime of abstinence from tobacco and alcohol. We discussed diet, exercise, and weight loss. He would benefit from a diet that is lower in fat and carbohydrates and from a routine exercise regimen. Data indicates that the president is currently very healthy and that he will remain so for the duration of his presidency.
Can you assess the president's mental fitness for office?
An incident recently where the president appeared to slur his words while giving an address. Did you look into what the cause of that might have been at all?
He would be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. Do you agree with that assessment?
How a guy who eats McDonald's and fried chicks and all those Diet Cokes and who never exercises is in as good a shape as you say he's in.
Let's bring in our panel. Dr. Mark Siegel is a professor of medicine for the NYU Langone Medical Center and a Fox News contributor. Brad Blakeman is a former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. And Richard Fowler is a radio talk show host and Fox News contributor. We'll start with the doctor first. I heard you sighing as you heard those questions from reporters. Here, a doctor stood up, the White House doctor, gave the president a clean bill of health, but they were relentless with their questions.
First of all, Dr. Jackson is incredibly credentialed. He's an emergency room physician. He served in Iraq. He served at a trauma unit in Iraq. He was President Obama's doctor. He worked with President Bush as well. He's as nonpartisan as they come. He talked for an hour and then all of these questions. He said his heart is in great shape. He had an extensive stress test, an echocardiogram, a CAT scan of the chest. He actually submitted to a very extensive cognitive test called the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test. That
the president volunteered himself for that
He scored 30 out of 30 at the age of 71, which I do not think I could do. And then the most important thing of all, the psychiatric assessment, the doctor gave a very smart answer to that. He said, I spend almost every day with the president. Sandra, you know how you assess psychiatric behavior? By spending time with someone. It's not really something you can test. So he put his own reputation on the line here. And I think that he did, I think the media is doing a real disservice here to people with real mental illness and real cognitive issues and real dementia by targeting the president and making it seem like it's a diminishment of some kind.
And I know you have a piece in USA Today, an op-ed on just that, your concerns as far as that. But Brad, when you looked at members of the media in that room yesterday, almost an hour long those questions went. The president did say, the White House said, the president said, go out there, answer all their questions. But it appeared the members of the media were disappointed at what they found.
There's no doubt. They looked absolutely perplexed and beside themselves, and were peppering the doctor for an hour with questions. Are you sure he's okay? Are these levels correct? Did the president tell you to say anything that you shouldn't say to us? Are you prohibited from reporting things? The doctor laid it all out, and I'll tell you, after working for several presidents, this is unprecedented. Usually a one-page document, and at best, is turned out to the media after the presidential physical, and it's very generic. It's the president is in good health, and he'll have another exam next year. The fact that they went before the cameras and answered every question to exhaustion to a dissatisfied press corps is really something and telling, and the doctor hit it right on the head. This isn't the kind of thing that the president should have to go through.
Richard, most of those reporters seemed upset they weren't able to get anything on this president. Was this a good strategy for President Trump?
I think it was a good strategy for the president to do a drop-dead press conference by his doctor and answer every question possible about the president's health. Really puts this issue to bed. Does it mean that he's going to stop tweeting? No. Does it mean he's going to stop acting erratic? Probably not. But it does say that he's in good health, even though he needs to sort of ease off the cheeseburgers and the Diet Cokes. But I think this was definitely a good move by the White House. And this is a bright spot in what has been a really, really, really bad weekend and an overall bad week for the president, given what he said in the Oval Office last week Friday, given that there's a likely government shutdown coming at the end of this week. So the president gets a good mark for this particular performance.
It's really interesting, Doctor, because in your piece, you actually go on to say that the president just based on his history, lack of alcohol use, cigarette smoking, vigor on the golf course, could have predicted the outcome of this medical testing.
Add to that low blood pressure. And I also think it's a moment of great hope for Americans out there who maybe don't exercise enough, who maybe don't eat right. You can still improve. You can still, which is what Dr. Jackson said President Trump should do. Start walking that golf course now. Get rid of the golf cart. Start exercising regularly. Lose some weight. Improve your diet. Because already with your genetics, your low blood pressure, your low cholesterol, which you can bring down further, and again, not smoking and not drinking, you're already ahead of the curve. Now, the last two presidents, Sandra, exercised vigorously. They were role models for exercise and fitness. President Trump can still do that. In the meantime, for those couch potatoes out there, this is a good moment.
I do believe he was also asked in that room yesterday, Brad, by one of the reporters. The doctor was asked, so is he the healthiest president ever to live? The doctor declined to compare him to any previous president's health. But does this put the issue over the president's health to rest, Brad?
It should. This exhaustive report on the president, including diagnostics, should absolutely put it to bed. And if anything, I would challenge any reporter in that room to take the same kind of test that the president went through, even half his age, and try and get the kind of scores this president did. And if I were the president today, I would take the entire press corps to McDonald's and have a full Big Mac, supersized meal as a thank you for their behavior yesterday.
The only thing I will add to that, Sandra, is the reason why I think the press corps was chomping at the bit was because his other doctor, when he was running for office, sort of released this glittery letter talking about he is the healthiest person and he's the healthiest president that ever lived, which is why people in the press corps sort of gave this health report a side eye. Now they no longer have to do that because a doctor who's well credentialed has said that the president's healthy. Now we can focus on the fact that he tweets too much and he drinks too many Diet Cokes.
So, Doctor, I will leave this with you. So put this to rest. Is there anything you learned yesterday in the report, both on the cognitive side and the physical side of this president? Anything left that concerns you?
He needs a little more vitamin D. He's got to increase his Crestor to lower his cholesterol further. I want him to exercise. But what I learned most disturbingly yesterday was you have this physician trained in Iraq, in the Iraq theater. There's nobody that you could point to that's more credentialed to be doing this, and he's grilled for over an hour. That was deeply disturbing, and it's time for the media to cut that out. This is an embarrassing moment for the news media.
My goodness. All right. Good discussion, guys. Thanks to all of you for being here.